Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Water wasting all over this country. Water. Water is life. Water is precious. Why do you think there were a myriad of reasons why Rowley went to COP26, the environmental conference, and no one sat there to listen to him? Not only the oil spills and the lack of care for the environment and the indiscriminate building on the hills and the floodplains and turning agricultural land into housing to voter pad. It had to also do with our waste, our wanton waste of water. And now the minister man comes with this great concept. He's going to spend $7 million to harvest rainwater. And when he done harvest rainwater, he's going to put it through the same distribution network that full of hole like bundle space and she teeth. That they're going to push that through the pipeline and waste 55% of it. So they're spending $7 million to collect water to throw away half. Every last cent WASA supposed to be spent on fixing the leaks all over the place. Show them, Archie.
This is water wasting in Maracas Gardens, Maracas, St. Joseph. People without water, and this is what is wasting months now.
Months now, you know. Months now, the lady say. You see the amount of water flowing there. This is another leak in St. Joseph. And this is St. Joseph. The amount of water wasting in that leak could give all the people of St. Joseph water for the day. But Wassa, Rowley, Minister Man, Nanga, coming to talk shepherd, coming to talk nonsense in the Joint Select Committee with arrogance. That is total incompetence. Where's the passion to fix? They should be feeling every drop of water that wastes. It's like, oh my goodness, you're getting headache, and be out there checking, fixing road. Them just relax. Months now, look at that gushing, clean, pristine water. I don't know what to say. And Don Miguel Road, a man called me on U97.5. Don Miguel Road too. He said water gushing like a spring for 3 months there in San Juan. But what? We must understand why. Because Keith Christopher Rowley said, and it's not funny, you know, but I just fed up. And I don't know if you're all fed up. Because to be a minister, you should have wanted and dreamt of being a minister. Work hard and be smart. Understand what problems exist, how you're going to create, motivate workers, create plans, and move an industry forward before you swear in. But look what the PNM does. Actually show them how Rowley selects ministers. Run it.
And I never imagined that leaks could have prevented people from getting an efficient water supply, because it breaks down pressure and the water cannot go to communities on the upper levels.
And that is why, as Prime Minister, I was very happy after the election results came out. Then I got somebody who had no connection, no understanding, no nothing to do with WASA, to be Minister of WASA.
So, according to Rowley, if he requires brain surgery, he will find somebody who knows nothing about brain, who have no brain, who never use a scalpel to cut into his brain to fix his brain. Have you all listened to that man? So why do children go to school, try to achieve, and go to university and choose a pathway and then choose subjects that could get them ready and prepare them for a successful career in that field? Why do we bother with the whole concept of life? If, as according to Rowley, the idea is find somebody who knows nothing, who can do nothing, who is not intelligent, and put them in charge of water for all the citizens of this country. That makes sense? But on top of that now, you have a fellow who is not intelligent, totally incapable for the task at hand, and he's a dishonest fellow. Minister of Man, Marvin Gonzalez, what did you say? I hear you on TV6 News. What exactly did you say about the Salcott? You didn't realize they just had a joint select committee where your entire PNM fraternity at WASA was made to look like a bunch of pathological, dishonest liars? You didn't pay attention to that. You didn't know that the facts came out and the whole population knows the truth. You gone on TV6 News to lie again, Marvin Gonzalez, Minister of Man. Let's hear listen carefully, let's hear what price per cubic meter of desalinated water from the Salcott this Minister of Man is quoting to the nation. Run it, Archie.
Chairman.
$8 million a month is being spent on desalinated water. It's money the Public Utilities Minister notes could be well spent in other areas.
So you purchase water at $1 or $1.50 US, $1.50 US per cubic meter, $1.50 US per cubic meter, and you sell that same water for 23 cents.
And that is why, as Prime Minister, I was very happy after the election results came out. Then I got somebody who had no connection, no understanding, no nothing to do with WASA, to be Minister of WASA.
Now, you heard that man? Lying again on the Salcott, trying to put a narrative that the Salcott is the reason the PNM have failed at WASA. We already cleared that up. And that the UNC brought desalcott and desalination water, and it wasn't desalcott. They brought a desalination plant, and 54 companies tendered, 3 were shortlisted, and desalcott won back in 1999, and the contract was signed on August 25th, 1999, my birthday on 1999, to provide water to the energy sector. And it was the PNM in 2002 under Manning, who had been given government after 1818 tie by President A.N.R. Robinson, who then took 5 million gallons per day from the 24 million gallons per day and moved it from energy sector where it's profitable and put it into the residential grid where it is not profitable. That's a PNM decision. Then in 2010, January 19th, the PNM again increased the desalinated water contract from 24 million gallons per day to 60 million gallons per day. Then Kamla Persad came in and the Salcott negotiated and brought that down to 40 million gallons per day. But Kamla Persad had Kevin Ramnarine in the Ministry of Energy, and Point Lisa's capacity went up. So once again there was need for water, desalinated water in the energy sector, and it was extremely profitable. But then in came the PNM, Rowley and his ministers of energy. The one he fired, Oliveri, for doing good and doing an audit on Petrotrin to find out about fake oil. He removed her and replaced her with Franklin Khan, who was just a minister to shimmy dimmy and smile, because the real minister was the minister Small Pin, who was negotiating gas price and so on. And then they collapsed the energy sector. NGC made a loss. Point Lisa's businesses shut down. And therefore, WASA had all this water available for the energy sector. But the PNM collapsed the energy sector. And this water is take or pay. You have to take it. Now, if you are intelligent and you're utilizing it in the energy sector, you make a profit of $5.25 per cubic meter. But if you are incompetent and dotish like Rowley and Smallpin and turn NGC into a loss maker and turn Point Lisas into a ghost town where it's running at 23% capacity, then you don't have the demand for the desalination water. So then the PNM has to take the water and put it into the non-profitable, unprofitable residential grid. That is PNM. This minister man, after the Joint Select Committee come, and Rowley and him lied a month ago and said that the Salcott broke in the country because $1.80 per cubic meter. We came and we found out from Shepherd and Nanga and Wassa that it is $1 US per cubic meter. We also found out that there is a foreign company that the PNM don't mention at all, that they signed a contract on the 7th of May 2010, 17 days before an election, with 7 Seas to provide 5 million gallons per day of desalinated water at a 1.81. You see, them is the ones at 1.81 US. 7 Seas, you never hear Rowley talk about 7 Seas unless it's vitamin he need to take with the honey goat weed. But lies and lies again. And Minister of Man, after all that information come out in the Joint Select Committee, he is a pathological liar, because this is the truth. Listen.
Chairman or CEO, through you, Chairman, the water sale price at the Salcott, can we confirm that it is $1 US per cubic meter and not $1.80 US as stated somewhere else?
Yes, that is correct. It is $1 US.
Yes, so now Archie, do me a favor. Play back the Minister of Man from TV6 News just last night or night before, you know. After all that truth, this is what the PNM does. They don't care about truth, honesty. They just come and lie. And that's why they are there and the entire country has fallen apart. Listen to this man again.
$8 million a month is being spent on desalinated water. It's money the Public Utilities Minister notes could be well spent in other areas.
So you purchase water at $1 US or $1.50 US, $1.50 US per cubic meter, $1.50 US per cubic meter, and you sell that same water for 23 cents.
And that is why, as Prime Minister, I was very happy after the election results came out that I got somebody who had no connection, no understanding, no nothing to do with Wassa, to be Minister of Wassa.
And Wassa spends 44 cents to make a pristine gallon of water. 44 cents. And they throw away every month 4.26 billion. Yes, Archie, brilliant. All of that, every gallon lose day is 44 cents. They throw away 4 billion gallons per month. How much money they throwing away through that? And 3,159 other leaks across Trinidad and Tobago. And they come to follow Rowley with this nonsensical lie about desalinated water, which is highly profitable for the intent and purpose for which the UNC brought it to the fore in 1999 for the energy sector. Because of the incompetence all round of the PNM, there are interlocking painful scenarios that occur because of incompetence. one incompetent minister, one incompetent cabinet leads to many problems that have a knock-on effect and waste your taxpayers' money. From NGC negotiation, gas negotiation in Houston with Small Pin and Rowley, to Point Lisa's 11 companies shutting down, to Wassa, no demand for energy sector water, but have to take or pay a contract signed in 2010, January 19th by the PNM. But they come in to talk nonsense and lie to you and keep lying with a straight face. These people are sick. Gopi Schoon, businesses have shown remarkable resilience. Despite the challenges of the past 2 years, Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi Schoon has said the business community, and in particular the manufacturing sector, showed remarkable resilience. Paula Gopi Schoon, I wish the 44% of businesses who have shut down and would never open back up listen to you and say that they have shown resilience in their closed down. What abject total nonsense are you speaking about, lady? The ones who survive, may God bless them. But those 44% that shut down because of your government's incompetence, and the pandemic ravaged us like nowhere else in the world, and we were the worst, the most deaths, the highest death rate in the ICU and HDU, our entire system collapsed and the economy collapsed. You come to boast that our business sector showed resilience? We dropped $40 billion out of our annual GDP. Talking about that, half a minister of agriculture, says the Newsday, and this Newsday is the Guardian, and Newsday is the Guardian of PNM, and the Guardian is the Guardian of Balize House, all of these. So when they start to talk a bit of the truth, you have to know that the truth is really, really bad. Half a minister of agriculture. What are we to make of the game of musical chairs that appears to be playing out when it comes to the administration of agriculture? An official has resigned as minister, citing family commitments in Canada, and in so doing, has instructed the country to rock so. A new minister has been appointed to replace him, aided by not one, but two other ministers. Now we are told the minister who has quit is to return to lead an agency that does not yet exist, which is to be set up to address a mandate that is not yet clearly understood by anyone outside the cabinet. Newsday, you now understanding the confusion that your newspaper and your editor, Judy Raymond, put this entire country in by electing Keith Christopher Rowley and asking him to select a cabinet of people who know nothing about the job that they're supposed to do? As we... Archie said I douglAR report I was reading, boy. Archie and douglAR report coming out later. I hear him know what edition Archie is 13. Woohoo! douglAR report coming out hot and sweaty later. But that's Newsday I reading there. And then when you talk about agriculture, watch this. Trinidad cocoa highly favored in Europe. Fantastic, lovely picture. I'm sure Al-Rawi must be happy because, you know, chocolate grows in our fruitful soils, according to Johnny Sukaran, aka Faris Al-Rawi. But then in the Business Guardian, collapse of cocoa development company can destroy an entire industry. So here we have, God give we a way to diversify. Just one of the many blessings we've had. But the curse of the PNM has shut down the cocoa development company. The recent revelation made by the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago that it is in dire straits can have further repercussions for the industry, says former chairman Winston Rudder. It is clear that a severely cash-strapped CDCTL will be hard-pressed to discharge its mandate. At best, critical choices will need to be made about competing priorities. So cocoa and all, the PNM sour the cocoa. But in Guyana, Rodney Charles, how you going, boy? You see why Rowley don't want to hear about Guyana? Because ExxonMobil, we talked about it last show, their fourth project is going to produce 250,000 barrels per day. And the overall investment of the 4 projects in Guyana is $10 billion US. But also in the last 7 years, Archie, yes, look, Archie has it there. In the last 7 years, ExxonMobil has spent money that has trickled down to different service industries in Guyana of 600 million US before they even started to operate properly. That's what's going on in Guyana. You know what else is going on in Guyana? This is why Rowley don't want to hear about Guyana. He don't want to hear about Myanmar or Motley. He don't want to hear about Grenada. He don't want to hear about Suriname. Because every leader brighter than he. Would you want to hear that you're a dunce every day? That's why he lost it. That's why he screamed and shouted like a wajang in the parliament. And the speaker with his blue head could do nothing about it. Guyana, to start wheat production trial. We have a PNM man who also on football, crashing football, pay nobody, still owing Dennis Lawrence money, and NFM prices going up right through. People nearly cannot buy flour to make no bread. But you know what Guyana is doing? Guyana increased their production in fruits and vegetables last year after flooding. We had the same floods and we gone through. Fruits and vegetables prices increased by 18% year on year. Guyana prices gone down for fruits and vegetables because they gave 762 farmers seedlings, of which 468 of those farmers were female. So Guyana makes decisions, presents solutions, and benefits from solutions. That's called intelligence in government. Now, Guyana, the government will commence the first trial of 20 wheat varieties before the end of May in an effort to further diversify the country's food sector, said Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa. But we have a Minister of Agriculture who say, so I go in and check my children and them, and then he come back here to get a work, that to do something that he is instrumental in creating. But at the end of the day, Rowley don't want to hear about Guyana at all. Because Rowley blanked Guyana. He didn't want to go to the energy conference. They invited him 6 months in advance. He went instead to Qatar to stutter and look like a total bungling idiot. And then he went to meet with the president of Iran. But look what happens here. While Rowley is playing games with the Minister of Education, the Minister of Bundles, he's all up in she bundles. Look at what happened in Guyana. I don't think in my lifetime I ever saw this, Archie. Put it up there for me and let me see what happened in Guyana in education. Guyana tops Cape. Look at the picture of on a banister, on a walkway across Guyana. You don't have it, but yeah, you have it, man. Actually, yes, point up, show them. You getting on like Rowley? You're afraid to show when government working good? I don't think in my lifetime in Trinidad and Tobago, I ever had to look at Guyana beating my people of Trinidad and Tobago. My children were always the brightest. But Guyana tops in education. CXC names Guyana's Queen's College School of the Year, top Cape student in the Caribbean, top CSEC student in the Caribbean. All of that going on in Guyana. No wonder Rowley buffing Rodney Charles. Don't tell him nothing about Guyana, Rodney Charles. Well, and in Trinidad and Tobago, while Guyana has very intelligent people and different, look, them going and make wheat, you know. But we, our government, don't even want to talk and make bilateral agreements with Guyana. Don't even want to make pathways for our investment. That could be a great opportunity for us to get cheaper flour for our people so that we could buy bread, make bread. But Rowley ain't care about that because them send Narcissus Scope, Andrew Gabriel and others down there to influence the election in Guyana, and they didn't like how it came out. And that, all of that vindictiveness, now you the people are suffering because of an immature, insecure, unstable man possibly suffering from dementia. And I ask you, Keith Rowley, are you being treated for the early stages of dementia? Very serious question. Because Rowley selected, you heard how he selected the Minister of Wasa, as he say, because the man ain't know nothing. Well, clearly he selected the former Attorney General because he ain't know nothing. Clearly he put Carl Mimbut in charge of finance because he ain't know nothing about economics and finance. And he put Convent Girl as the Minister of Health because he ain't know nothing about health. That's how Rowley chooses ministers. And then you wonder why we have fallen apart. Well, look at this now. He chose this man for tourism and culture because clearly this man ain't know nothing about nothing. So they spend, so they say, first it was 35 million. And they start to give out contract and so on at 35 million. And then the cabinet comes and says, no, it's 15 million. But they spend 15 million in a taste of carnival to make 2.7 million revenue. Make it make sense, please. I'm trying to understand. And not only that, we just had a taste of carnival, put people in pig pen and sheep pen. But right now, after the carnival season, which is normally a bumper season to get people jobs, to create movement in the economy, the domestic economy, increase spend, people creating a movement, we eliminate, the PNM eliminate that entire season and opportunity to create jobs and kickstart the economy, give we a taste of bus, and now, after the carnival season, they open up everything. That is just brilliant. That is just, I'm just so impressed by the intelligence of these fellows. Suriname government to implement temporary fuel subsidy. Suriname don't have no fuel subsidy. But the government of Suriname care about the people. They say, listen, that Ukraine-Russia thing, we can't allow our people to suffer with those types of high fuel prices, because once that happens, everything else going to go up. Medicine going to go up, all food items going to go up, everything, hardware, sand, brick, iron, steel, everything going to go up. Taxi fare, bus fare, everything going to go up. You know what the government of Suriname did? Paramaribo, Suriname, April 7th, CMT. Government will introduce a temporary subsidy discount on the price of diesel and unleaded gasoline to help cushion the blow of the increased fuel price on the international market. So a caring government in Suriname protects its citizens. And what did you vote for? What really did you, my people of Trinidad and Tobago, you born and blessed with gas under the earth, oil, you blessed with the beauty and the amazing resources of Trinidad and Tobago, you voted for a curse. God is a Trini. God gave Trinidadian and Tobagonian everything. But we the people give ourselves the devil. You all voted for that. The devil and Adwen, run it, Archie.
Out of the $4 billion fuel subsidy, over $1 billion is paid by the oil companies and not by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And what the minister is supposed to do, he's supposed to pass on the benefits of the oil levy on to consumers.
The price of fuel by 15%.
I propose to increase the price of super gasoline by just 15%. True cost of premium gasoline is $4.73. Why is the minister making consumers pay $5.75 for premium
And I
gas?
came back again just a few weeks ago and raised it by another 15%.
It is proposed, therefore, to continue the incremental removal of the fuel subsidy. Taking the petroleum levy that the oil companies pay, not taxpayers, and not applying it to subsidize the price of premium gas. What are you doing? You are breaking the law.
I haven't rioted yet. So I might raise it by another 15%.
What are you doing? You are breaking the law.
You know, this is past a joke, you know. Really and truly. Past a joke. It is painful. Back in 2015, look what you were paying when Kamla Prasad Bisesa, $140 TT for an average car to fill up with gas under Kamla, because she said the subsidy is yours, it belongs to the people, the resources are for the people, it's for you, the people, it's the best distribution, leave the subsidy. She will create other revenue streams in order to do what her cabinet would like to do, whatever policy they would like, with education, with healthcare, with roads, with infrastructure, with development, and so on. She is not going to take money from the people so that her cabinet could spend it. That was Kamla. Rowley and Imbot say, fire burn you. They are going to take away you, what God gave you by you being born here. You don't deserve that. That is too painful for them, that you are benefiting from your resources. So they take it away so they could then decide where to spend it. Let's spend it on Al-Rawi's rent. Let's give it to Noel Garcia, who is Rowley's brethren of 45 years, who's in charge of building everything under the sun. That's what they're doing. Taking from you, and you voting for them to take it. But look at how they fool you. This was in 2010, you know. The PNM, don't let them take it away. The gas subsidy. And in there was a little girl too who said, nothing for we Jed. Kamla going to cut all them program, going to cut all them gate. Jed. Kamla open everything, Jed. Carry it up to 726 million per year, Jed. She would take it up to 59,000 students. She opened it to tech work, Jed. She and Tim Gopising built 106 schools, Jed. MIC centers, David Lee and them, NESC centers, Jed. Sport and culture, all kind of investment Kamla did. But look at this lying PNM. Don't let them take it away. Gas subsidy, vote PNM. So Dwayne is not a PNM. Coleman, but is not a PNM who just take away and laugh at you. Rowley is not a PNM. The cabinet is not a PNM. Let me read for you now. Remember what I said? I sat in the meeting 4 years consecutively as those so-called finance experts who don't care about the people. They only care about the numbers. Came to Kamla Prasad Bisesa and said, the subsidy has to be removed so that your government will have more money to spend how it would like to. And Kamla Prasad Bisesa said, no, I believe that the resources of the people belong to the people, and therefore the fuel subsidy is the best distribution of the resources to the people, because everyone benefits from the fuel subsidy, whether you have a car or not. Whether you travel in Maxi, whether you take bus, whether you go to the grocery or the pharmacy or the hardware to buy goods and services, everybody benefits. So Kamla left your subsidy. Rowley and Imbot say, fire burn you. We need more money to go and recuse ourselves more times so that we friend and family could get it. We are to take the money from you and redistribute it to us, to we brethren in the web of corruption. One man on 7 board, one woman on 9 board, and all of them is neighbors in Tobago. Y'all happy with that? Y'all voted for that? You selected that with your eyes and ears open. Let me tell you what Coleman but said. And I'm asking each and every one of you out there, because when you go by the pump, when you go in the grocery, when you go in the hardware, when you go to buy medicine, you can't show your PNM card and get an anti-subsidy discount, you know. You getting it, and it will hurt you more because you selected it. At least the people who didn't vote for it can say, well, boy, I did not select this, so they have a little, at least an emotional feeling of, well, boy, I try my best. It's still paining them. But those who dip their finger because of the lies of the PNM, that could burn all your pocket. Listen to what Imbot is asking you. Listen carefully. This is the article. Imbot talk down in Diego Martin. All right. Here's Imbot. We might get 2 billion, 3 billion, even 4 billion. from the windfall that is going on now. Do you think we should take 2 billion out of that 4 billion and put it into subsidizing fuel? I repeat, IMBUT is asking you from the money that is coming for you, your money from your resources. IMBUT has the audacity to ask you if we get 4 billion, meaning you know, it's not IMBUT money. Do you, the people, want the government to spend it on a subsidy so every single citizen could benefit and get an ease up in not only fuel in the car, maxi price, bus price, transportation price, and all the food and goods and services? You could get an ease up and a buffer. I think all of you will say, yes, please. Please spend that money there because that benefits all of us. It's our money. I think y'all would say that. But IMBUT is asking the question like you people are saying, no, IMBUT, don't spend it on us. You spend it on you. You spend it on recusals. You spend it on your financiers. You spend it on your contractors. You spend it to rent your ministers' buildings. No, IMBUT, don't spend it on us. Here, IMBUT, you know, this is a question he's asking all you. We might get 2 billion, 3 billion, even 4 billion. Do you think we should take 2 billion out of that 4 billion and put it into subsidizing fuel? Do you think so? Prices will be spent very wisely for the public interest. He said the revenue from higher oil and gas prices will be spent very wisely for the public interest, for the welfare of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago, says IMBUT. So IMBUT is saying to you in your face, and some of you clap, you know. He's saying that dastardly subsidy that provides all of you with all this immense benefit from baby to pensioner. We are not going to spend it on that. This little Dwayne, I'm going to decide how to spend your money. And I tell you that Rowley, the 210 recusals, we are going to spend it in your interest. The public interest. Y'all want to vote again? Do y'all? Al-Rawi promises to clean up Trinidad and Tobago. But wait, Archie, they had something else from Guyana, you know. Rodney Charles, look, Guyana, approval for a company in Guyana to build the first and only World Trade Center in the Caribbean. Look at that. The World Trade Center Guyana office will be located at DDL's High Street, Kingston, Georgetown office. And Kevin Ramnarine showed, yes, thank you, Archie. Kevin Ramnarine posted. This shows the trend in refining products margins in recent months. The refinery margin is the difference between the value of a barrel of crude oil and the value of a barrel of refined products. A good time to own a refinery, he says. Do you see how that graph is going up? March 2022, and then continuing up in a trend, April 6, 2022, and going up. That's if you had a refinery, because you can take the raw material of the barrel of oil, transform it through your refining process into different products and sell it, and the profit margins of that just go up, and you, the people, you get money, you get foreign exchange, you create jobs. Oh, the P&M closed the refinery. Rowley closed the refinery. Rowley said Winfred Espine and the Petrotrin board told him to close the refinery. Winfred Espine went in the industrial court and said, no such thing. Under oath, I didn't tell the cabinet to close down nothing. There were $64 million in reports, advice from consultants, the McKinsey report, the Solomon report, the Lashley report that told Rowley, do not close down Petrotrin. It needs some cutting here, cutting there, and so on. Rowley closed down Petrotrin on its own. Somebody say because a man who does wine and dance and use racist epithets, tell Rowley, if you feel I go down alone, if I go down, all go down, and everybody going down, so shut down. Rowley shut down the refinery. It is still closed, going on 4 years. That is P&M governance. You selected that to manage your affairs. So if you have a business at home and you're interviewing for CEOs, you select a CEO that will shut down and bust your business and put you out of business. That's what you all voted for. Al-Rawi promises to clean up Trinidad and Tobago. Al-Rawi, how are you going to clean it up with a coquille broom? I just want to say, on behalf of the friends of Johnny Sukaran, we started a little committee because we're getting worried. You know, there's a lot of pressure. He's really been emasculated across the country. He's been embarrassed. He was on such a high and now he's down so low. So we're pulling together all the friends of Faris, for y'all who met him late in life, and for y'all who know him long since childhood, the friends of Johnny Sukaran. It's an intervention committee to maintain, you know, to help him maintain a level head, because we think that mental illness is real and we want to provide him with some comfort, because something is wrong with this Faris Al-Rawi, aka Johnny Sukaran. Al-Rawi is boasting, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, is promising a cleaner country and smoother roads as he takes up his new portfolio. So for the last 7 years, the country nasty and dirty and the roads rough, but it's your government, your clung. Like once you go in the P&M, stupidity is contagious, you know. From Pinet de Bell with Keith, Scotland, to Rowley, to the Minister of Man, to Rowley saying dotishness. Look, Penelope, she stopped cleaning fish, and look what she gone in the parliament to do. Run it.
In a much more easier fashion. In a much more easier fashion. In a much more easier fashion.
In a much more easier fashion. Penelope, if you take SCA, you would have come last. Eh? All your trouble. What is going on in the people parliament? And you read that? You read that, Penelope Beckles? Look, girl, go and get some more scale on fish and clean some chicken or something, yes? Now, in a much more easier fashion, let's deal with some Nimakarams. Vasant and Bo. This segment is called the Maha Nimakaram segment. I want to welcome the two King Maha Nimakarams. That means they're king twice. Bohindradat Tiwari and Vasant Bharat. Now, Vasant Bharat, first of all, this one here, he's moving forward with an alternative political entity. That's for the second time. Try as hard as you will, Vasant, but thank you. I want to tell you, Nimakaram, thank you for leaving Kamla, the UNC, all we activists, all we people, we 412,000 supporters, for leaving us in peace. Thank you. Go and form your party. Yes, and if you get more than 11 people like the last time you tried, I will applaud you. Okay? So good luck to you and your 7 people meeting. Come up and meet anytime, you know. Call me anytime you want. But good riddance to bad rubbish, Vasant. And now, Bohindradat, writing in the P&M's magazine, the Guardian newspaper. You see, once you don't like Kamla or the UNC, or you want to mash up the opposition, because the philosophy of these two gentlemen, their leadership philosophy. You see, like Kamla, I support Kamla Prasad Bisesa because she loves children. She loves differently able people. She loves to help poor people. She loves to assist those most in need, to bring them up to give them opportunities to succeed. And she doesn't only talk that, you can see it in her policies that she implemented as a prime minister in education, gate, number of schools, the programs, the grants for differently able, the autistic grants, the special needs schools, funding, the sports for differently able, the sports camps and so on. That's why I support Kamala Persad-Bissessar, because that's her philosophy. She loves people. These two, their philosophy is, me and get what I want, so I have to form a party, I have to mash up. Because I want to be an MP, and I want to be a leader, and I want to be prime minister, and Kamala did not give me what I want, so let me battle Kamala. So Rowley could mash up the whole country and make more deals in Lake Koto, and the country could be falling apart, but let me battle Kamala because I did not get a job, and I want a job, and Kamala should not put me in a seat. If I don't get a seat to run, then then everything is wrong. I would just like to let all of you know who are thinking about following these two. It's not many of y'all, but I'm asking y'all, does that philosophy, does that inspire you to join them? That when Kamala give them a seat, or put them in the Senate, or make them ministers, they are happy. They love Kamala. But as soon as Kamala gives someone else an opportunity to serve their country, they despise Kamala. Is that a philosophy that y'all can get behind? Y'all like that? Okay, well, good luck. But you can leave them there, because let me read an article in the PNM Guardian written by this Bohindradat. Brighter morning, but boy, the morning is bright again, boy. You show and all, you can't do a show. You want to look, boy. Yeah, Bohindradat. The problem in the UNC might well be deeper than that. Current party leadership may not be clear on what they stand for, nor what they believe in, nor what they are really committed to. They may want power and office, yes, but for what purpose? The UNC has not presented economic solutions that stand out. Loose talk on the political platform may lead to what? Excuse me? Like you're really in the right colors? You are a total pathological liar, Bohindradat Tiwari. Not only before the 2020 election, 11 months before, did Kamala Persad-Bissessar present a manifesto, a working document with policies on every ministry, from growing the economy to diversification to agro-processing to the new age, to the fourth industrial age, to the green economy, to sport and culture, to tourism, coming across the board, to education, to opportunities. Every single thing. Kamala is very firm in what she wants to do. Kamala knows what she wants to do. She's put her policies there, and you just come and say, the UNC have no policy and do nothing. Just so, you just start to lie because you ain't get a seat and Bohindradat. What a disgusting makaram you are. And what about CDA? What happened down in there? You were playing games with PNM businessmen and financiers? More on that soon. Keep talking. Try to have a next Zoom. When is the next Zoom? I sent 5 people on it on April Fool's Day. So you had 11 people on the Zoom, minus 5. It's really 6, eh? April Fool's Day. Anil got you. Move them. Now, just to show you all that Keith Christopher Rowley has divided this nation in ways that we cannot even contemplate. When some people heard the name of this show, douglAR Politics, they say, Anil, what are you talking about? I am talking about removing the race card out of politics. Throw it away, because we are one race, one people. When you cut me, cut you, we all bleed red blood, as blacks would say. So remove that stigma, remove that brainwashing, remove that emotional implanted cultism put there by Dr. Williams come forward to the PNM. Once you remove that and you start to think about politics in an opaque, in a gray, in a douglAR manner, you can see what makes sense and what does not make sense. Look at what we really are, Archie, in Trinidad and Tobago. Look at this gentleman singing some of the sweetest chutney music, music in Hindi. Run it and show the people. This is Trinidad and That is Trinidad and Tobago. That is who we are. We are one people together, red, white, and black. One race, all together. All ethnicities lime together, live together, take care of one another. We eat doubles and we eat pela. We eat corn soup and we eat sahina. We lime together by the river, down the islands, at the beach, the pool, the water park. We work together, we go on buses, maxis together. Do not let Rowley divide you and tell you about distinction between African and Indian so that he could stay in power and procure and spend your money without checks and balances and call other people thief. That is who we are, Trinidad and Tobago. Well done, Mr. Batson. And when you talk about this, think about this. A human being who would take credit for something that they did not do is a dastardly human being. They're a cheater. Cheaters do not prosper. If someone has an exam and they take the textbook and they cheat and say they get 100%, they got nothing. For a human being to take credit for something that they did not do and to pretend like they are very skillful, knowing full well that it was not their natural ability, it was not their performance, is really sickening. You had to be a very small human being to do that. We all heard Keith Rowley sing off key, next to the note. We all heard how ridiculous he sounded. We all heard, and our ears, the pain went through our ears hearing that voice. But Rowley, a DJ fella, very intelligent on the computer production, put some auto-tune to Rowley out of sync, out of timing, off-key singing. And Rowley pretending to the PNM and boasting that next year you go see him in the savannah because he's singing good. Rowley did not sound good, you clown. The man put a computer and take all your off-key and make it, put it, shimmy-dimmy it into key. That was not you, Rowley, you pathological liar. Run it and show the people.
David dance, we're gonna dance like David dance. We're gonna dance like David dance. Hey, dance like David dance. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
We just do some pitch correction.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
With the beats.
Somebody touch me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me.
Rowley, you have no shame. What would you tell your children and your grandchildren? If they come forth in a race, they really win, you'll go and use your power to get the other 3 children disqualified and tell them that your child, your relative win? That's what you'll teach them? Well, ridiculous. That's not you, son. You were there singing. People, everybody, I saw all your cringe when all you hear that. I get throughout a choir at 7, and I feel me and Rowley could compete for worst singer. Ministry rescinds letter claiming 2020 top SE. Let me tell you something. when the PNM could embarrass children, could bring children into couture, could try to create a position in an exam that is already stressful, and where children work hard, their parents work hard, they spend their money for lessons, they go through an inordinate amount of stress and pressure, and the PNM could play games with little children, that something is wrong with these people, really and truly. Because the PNM, the Minister of Bundles, Dr. Gadsby Dolly, the Minister of Education, said with the entire SEA debacle that it was some low-level public servant who changed the results without the authority or authorization from the executive of the ministry. While that may sound good to the members of the media who allowed that to pass as a statement, these awards are the President's awards. The President Medal Gold, the President Medal Silver. What does that mean? That means the protocol and processes to give information to the President must be upheld. The office of the President does not take information or communication from any low-level public servant. The office of the President only receives information from the cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister and confirmed in the cabinet meeting, and then a letter signed by the Prime Minister sent by the cabinet secretariat to President's house. Then action is taken. So there could be no changing of any President's gold or President's silver without the President knowing or being informed. And the only people who could inform the President is the cabinet, the Prime Minister, with a cabinet note coming from the Minister of Education. So stop all the lies and the nonsense and blaming some low-level public servant who does not have the authority to do that. They could send out a letter to the principal and so on. That's all right, but that does not change anything. Because if the President House has a list of names, it was sent there by the cabinet, by the government, and the award ceremony was arranged based on that cabinet note and that communication. So if it is to be changed, it can only be changed through the same process. So Minister of Bundles, your story leaves a lot to be desired. And now you come in to talk about, oh, you will just eliminate this now. Secondly, didn't you all find it strange that this minister and this government under Keith Rowley, that the top performer in the SEA, you know what is their reward? For being the brightest in the nation of that age group out of 19,568 children. You know what's their reward? A laptop. So the brightest of the bright get a laptop. But the other 19,560, they don't get no laptop. But Kamla Prasad Bisesa was giving each and every child a laptop. Which way would you vote? Which way, what makes more sense? Rowley telling you that a laptop is irrelevant and it's unnecessary and it's corrupt and it's nonsense when your child has to get a laptop? But when they're celebrating great performance of the high achievers, they give them this piece of, according to Rowley, useless equipment, useless technology. You give the brightest that. Why? And then Rowley and all of these people, all their children have laptops. So when you vote, this is what you vote for. Now, and when we're talking vote, the PNM follows the leader. Leadership is very important. You could move, see. Leadership is extremely important. People, leaders find people in the same vein, who feel this, who believe in this, their philosophy, who have the same sort of temperament, the heart and soul, the beliefs. They sort of attract similar people. So Keith Christopher Rowley is heartless, arrogant, low self-esteem, an Oreo, a hater, vindictive, wajang, selfish. And he attracts that around him. We've already shown you in the cabinet. Dwayne, Arawi, Small Pin, Convent Girl, Camille, Fitzgerald Hines. All of them fit just like baby Rowleys. But it's worse than that. It trickles down even into local government. Actually, there's a video there. I want you all to listen to this video. This is a PNM councillor speaking to workers and members of her Burgess, you know. This is a PNM councillor. Run it.
Shall we go with the floor? Come and say something. But and you hear that's going on? And you hear that's going on? Where are you?
Don't show you that. Yes, show you that corona. Yes, you get that.
You understand?
Don't be so.
All of a sudden, the guy now has done nothing. It's not happening. So if I go deal with you, I will deal with you. Stop encouraging. And that next house in the back there, like, you know, like, all you doing is misleading on you. You care, you know? You care what nobody. They help we. Come and help we. Come and help me do what? Come and help we clean the ground and we keep things for the children. But you know what's going on, you want to hear we. And you don't want to hear we. So why you don't want to hear we? Come and keep things, give me something. But I don't deal with all. Come, deal with me with what? With what? For keeping things? But you're paying, we no mind. You're not paying, we no mind. Come in the meeting, hear what's going on, talk to the what's going on, find out what's going on. Well, right, you care about we? You care about we? Where?
That is a PNM councillor in the car. These workers, these citizens, were just taking it upon themselves to clean up a park area that had become overgrown during the corona shutdown SOE nonsense. They showed initiative and they got out there and they're cleaning up the area so the children could play. This PNM councillor vexed because she didn't authorize or whatever, and that's her attitude talking to them. But also, I'm going to show you a picture. And actually put up the picture because some of you all, I want you to look at the picture before I tell you anything. Look at this. Do you know, I'm asking that same councillor, is that your house up there? Is that your property? And is this your driveway that's so beautifully paved, better than the highway going to south? Is that it? Now look where the blue arrow is, right, my people? That is the public road. That is concrete. So the road for the public to drive is concrete, riveted, rough, and the road to this house is smooth, pristine, and beautiful, better than the Churchill Roosevelt Highway. You have another image, Archie? Put it up, man. So I'm asking you, is this a PNM councillor? What's your name, lady? Is your name Catherine Mendez? Are you the councillor for Cameron Hill? That picture before, was that your house or your property? How come it's paved so beautifully and the road for the public use is just raw concrete? I'm not understanding, Madam PNM councillor. I'm just asking questions. So maybe you can make a public statement. Let us know what the facts are. And why were you abusing citizens in that way? Is that how politicians talk to their employers? Oh, the PNM, no, they don't need them people because they vote because you tell them they're black and they have to vote for you. But they vote for you to drive smoothly up into your driveway. They vote for you to buff and shout and cuss at them. But that is the PNM. Rowley will be proud of you. I'm sure you will get a promotion to the PNM cabinet. You might be the 3rd Minister of Agriculture in the Ministry of Agriculture because Rowley loves that, how you treated the people and how you put resources. You took resources from the people and funnel it to yourself. That's the Rowley way. Congratulations, lady. You're brilliant. Mushi. Great is the PNM. Y'all see? It trickles right down. That is why we are poisoned at every level. Archie, end great as the PNM, run it.
Right foot. Left foot. Right foot. Left foot.
We love you so we take good care of you. Only the PNM understands. We love you so we take good care of you. Only the PNM has a plan.
Only PNM could do that. You think UNC could do that?
Every time I see that footage or those pictures of Lake Asphalt workers kneeling and begging for their salary that is due to them that they work for, I don't know, boy. That one has hit me in my heart. And out of the 40-something of them there, many of them voted for Rowley. Eh? You see, when you just dip your finger without thinking, that's what happens. That's what happens. Elections have consequences. Change the paradigm, change your habits. Read, understand. Don't believe the nonsense. Explosive land issue, says the Express editorial, page 12, Thursday, 7th April 2022. Explosive land issue. All Pekong aside, one would hope that Youth Development Minister Foster Cummings knows that his response to questions about his family's business occupation of agricultural lands owned by Caroni 1975 Limited in Couva is in no way satisfactory. The questions asked by the opposition leader are straight enough to deserve a straight answer. Invoking the national anthem with talk about his family providing employment are deflections that merely raise red flags of suspicion. Foster, you ain't answer nothing. You massacre we national anthem. You play like convent girl, you wept. Where was the advertisement? How was the population alerted that Caroni lands were available to businesses, to contractors? Where was the advertisement? How many people tendered? How did your company win? How many others won simultaneously? When was it given? What was the contract? What is the lease? What is the length of the lease? What cabinet note allowed the policy for contractors to just get Caroni land, to get state land? What was the policy? Was it open to everyone? Why was it a secret? How did you know, and how did your family company know that you could apply for Caroni lands to get it, to run your business, a contracting business? There are many contractors out there. Where, when, why, how? What was the cabinet note? What was the policy? Where was the advertisement? Who did you go to? Where was the application made? Who approved the application for your family company? These are very serious issues, because the Constitution states that the resources of Trinidad and Tobago must be made available to all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So you cannot be selective in giving people land. So you have not answered one question. You said, you admitted though that your company, that your family business. Okay, but the people business is state land. Who approved that? How did you learn about it? Where did you get the information that land was available? Were others made to understand that this land was available? Where was the advertisement? In which daily newspaper? How long ago? What was the process? Who was the committee? What was the evaluation process? How did you win? These are questions you're answering. Now this is extremely painful, this next story. You see, when I say elections have consequences, they really do, and I've already proven that to you in this show alone. In sport, Kamla Prasad Bisesa believes in sport, the power of giving children another avenue to succeed, to create jobs, to create a sustainable future. So Kamala Prasad Bisesa, first of all, put a minister of sport who loves sport, who's knowledgeable in sport, who understands sport and is an expert in sport across the board to handle the ministry. The PNM puts a lady who didn't even want to be there, and she said because she jogged. She does walk half marathon, so she is a minister of sport. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, you see, when you talk race, let's talk some race. Football in Trinidad and Tobago is 98% black African footballers. You have some great Indian players that came in, Bobby Sukram, Danulal, others in between, one or two skillful fellas, some douglAR, Dwarakanting. But in the main, it's an Afro-Trinbagonian sport. Cricket, on the other hand, is 50-50, Afro and Indian. And, of course, Trini White, because we have Boy De Silva, who is absolutely brilliant and scored 100 for the West Indies. But Kamala Prasad Bisesa, since Rowdy likes to inject race, she funded football across the board. From the secondary schools leagues, they did not have to pay the $5,000 to use the stadium for intercall matches that the PNM had them paying to use their own stadium. She gave funding across the board for the Super League that had its greatest seasons between 2011 and 2015. She funded the TT Pro League to the tune of $18 million per year, $5.6 million for administration, and another $13 million to the clubs to pay wages of their players and so on. Over those seasons, those years, they had full seasons with all kind of cup. They had FA Cup, they had League Cup, they had First Citizens Cup, all a full season of football. Over 3,850 black Afro-Trinbagonians were earning a living wage, taking care of their families through the industry of football. Kamala also put in $25 million on average into Trinidad and Tobago football for the national teams, the women's, the girls, the junior teams. She sponsored and invested in sport because of her belief. She increased the NPI vote, which is the vote for community sport, equipment and so on, uniforms and sports days across the communities. She increased that from $10 million up to $140 million. And this created opportunities for young fellas to earn a living. Now look what happened under the PNM. For 6.5 years, they crashed the football. They stopped the investment. They cut the funding. They put a minister who knows nothing about sport. They put a normalization committee who pays themselves and does not pay the suppliers and the contractors. Football is dead and dying. Only Angus Eve, who I hope he get the money, still is trying to inject some life into football. But look at this now, Archie. Look at what we have to go through. Come in on it. Ex-national footballer killed by police in robbery. This is what the PNM does. It moved a brilliant, blossoming talent, a footballer who, if he worked at his craft and was given pathways, could have moved on to a professional contract, could have become a coach if he didn't make it professionally, could have earned a living and taken care of his family. The PNM crashed football, crashed the opportunities. Some of these children do not have the skills or the wherewithal to sit down in the classroom for maths and English, and that's okay. Some of the world footballers make much more money than any doctor, lawyer, surgeon across the board. But when you do not invest in young people, this is what happens. So he got and fell into a life of crime because of lack of opportunities for him to earn a living. And now he's dead. Some of y'all might say, but so he make the choice to go. All right, you could say that. But you could also be empathetic and understand that maybe he would not have made the choice to go into a life of crime if he had these Kamala Prasad Bisesa opportunities to play football, to use his God-given talent to earn money and put food on the table. Elections have consequences. In this case and in many across Trinidad and Tobago, these consequences are dire. Crime Stoppers offers 50,000 reward for information on Dow Village murder. Mount Lambert shop shot at. Ex-national footballer among 2 shot dead by police. and a beautiful schoolgirl beaten to death by her father. That is what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago, while Sleepy Hines at Elbert is the minister. Donna Cox says reports of assault by beating doubled in 2021. Yet the same Donna Cox cut funding to Lifeline, the suicide hotline, where people could call 24 hours, 7 days a week, and have a qualified person, a counselor, a psychologist, people who are trained to talk, to identify risk, to talk people down, to give them hope. Donna Cox, the same Donna Cox, cut funding for the suicide hotline, Lifeline. And now comes to say that reports of assault by beating doubled in 2021. But while Donna is saying this, Fitzgerald Hines the week before is saying there is no surge in crime. So domestic abuse and murder, domestic murders, and wives being chopped and beaten, that's not crime, Fitzgerald et Albert Hines. And then Hines comes to say to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, while in every nook and cranny you are unsafe, while you have no faith and confidence in DCP Jacobs, they tell me don't walk with Jacob because Jacob does walk and shake up. A man who only receives the top cop job because of shenanigans, because of misbehavior in public office, because the Prime Minister, the head of the executive, interfered, influenced other public officials in carrying out their duty, forcing them to breach the Constitution and breach their oath of office. Only because Rowley misbehaved in public office is DCP Jacobs the acting Commissioner of Police. People are scared. They have no confidence. Crime rampant, day, night, anytime. Bandits moving around with impunity across the country. And Fitzgerald et Albert Sleepy Hines, the high man, says 733 of the 1,796 closed-circuit television cameras installed throughout Trinidad and Tobago are not working. Now, they were installed by CAMLA. Elections have consequences. They were installed by CAMLA, maintained by CAMLA, working under CAMLA and monitoring under CAMLA to keep you safe. The PNM hasn't been in power 6.5, going on 7 years. And 733 of the cameras that are there to keep you safe are not functioning. And when Smallpin was there and Munilal had asked him about the cameras, he gallery because all them want to talk about is contract and money, not about your safety. And when they asked at Albert Hines about a repo where another young child was found murdered, one of our women, he says, yes, that's under consideration for cameras up that area. When everybody who knows anything about the area said one CCTV camera would have prevented those deaths. But that's what you'll have in charge. You'll really choose that seriously? No, I really want to understand. Because in every other aspect of life, we do not do that. If you pay somebody to clean your house and when you come home, your house not clean and cobweb all over and the dust all over and the ching thing and the wipe down and so on, you fire them and find somebody who does the job properly. If somebody, you go to a restaurant and the food ain't tasting good, you don't go back. So how come you keep going back to the PNM? How come you keep going back for the rancid, rotten food poisoning? Crime. But the DPP says, the DPP's office under pressure. We are woefully understaffed, undermanned, and under-resourced, says the DPP. How are you going to fight crime if the DPP's office is understaffed, under-resourced, and underfunded? Just like the police were understaffed, underfunded, and now they have no leadership. And you're just happy with that? So that's not their job. Because Fitzgerald et Albert Hines says it's not his job to keep you all safe. Never mind Rowley say that when it comes to crime, how you feel will determine how successful he is. Well, he's a successful failure because everybody unsafe. Rowley says, all of a sudden now, opposition looking to undermine Trinidad and Tobago. What's that? Rowley asked the UNC, where's Guaido? Rowley said, when the United States wanted regime change in Venezuela, really and truly, I'm interested in the US State Department, and Ambassador for the USA must be interested in hearing that. Because at no point in time have I ever heard a policy of the government of the USA wanting regime change. What they said was that the elections were not free and fair and free from fair, and therefore the constitution of Venezuela, due to Maduro manipulating it, calling an early election, locking up opposition forces, and not allowing a free and fair election, that the USA was calling for a new election. And the National Assembly and so on, the USA never called for regime change, but Rowley is stating the US foreign policy clearly. That's very interesting. I'm sure the USA would like to hear about that. In Trinidad and Tobago, the opposition got involved and jumped in saying they wanted President Guaido too. You, the UNC, take our country down the road publicly supporting somebody who's not even in the parliament in Venezuela and agreeing with the Americans that they should be on the OAS. And you go ahead and you talk Rowley and Stuart Young because they allowed the vice president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to come to Trinidad. So we should be sanctioned by a foreign power, and then the foreign power itself gone to Caracas. Now you see what Rowley does. So he's coming back. Whatever Delcy and Maduro have for him. And you know what is Rowley passionate about? What gets Rowley excited and motivated and makes him tremble and stutter? Money. It's the only thing. Why did Rowley go after Calder Hart way back when Manning was Prime Minister? Because the wrong contractor got a contract. What y'all thought? Rowley is some corruption buster? Mr. Gravel rolling from by a hospital to somewhere by he, Mr. Planning and Development Minister with outline approval to Rahal's son and them to go up in the sky and increase their asset base from 10 million to 850 million. Mr. Greenvale, Mr. Las Alturas, Mr. Noel Garcia, Mr. Newman George, Mr. A.A. Kwamina, Mr. Shutdown Petrochin, Mr. A.A. Nazim Bashfriend, the fellow who does dance bareback and thing, Rowley. Y'all serious? But something Rowley, he's not very bright, you know. He gives people like me a signal of where he's going. So he's trying to go back and make deal that they miss out on. When they were buying fuel, Pario Fuel Trading Company was buying fuel from Wilmer Ruperti, Trafigura PTE. And they got caught by the US naval assets were in the Caribbean. And the ship, the Aldan, turned off its transponder, but the US tracked it and gave the information to a reporter in Venezuela. That's how we found out that Trinidad and Tobago was involved in sanction busting. Rowley said the shipment, the 148,964 barrels of fuel was to go to St. Eustatius and then Aruba. We ain't no armed it after. But it was Trafigura Wilmer Ruperti, which is Maduro, who purchased it, brought it in, and then sold it back to Wilmer Ruperti, Maduro, Trafigura. And when I asked Franklin Cannon in April 2020, how much fuel did you all buy from Trafigura? It was not 148,000, that was just one shipment. It was 1.2 million barrels. And that got cat's prattle. So Rowley now talking about Maduro and talking about the UNC and Guaido, and he's trying to legitimize Maduro, an oppressor, a man who put his wife and his family and cousins in the cabinet, who put all his friends and so on in the judiciary, in the judicial system, who eliminated the National Assembly, the Asamblea Nacional. That's what Rowley has done in Trinidad. And now he is praising that Maduro, trying to tell you, the people, everything is okay, because he going there to try and cut some more deal, because, Archie, Rowley loves Maduro.
lo que arde tu piel. Soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy la espada que guarda el caudal, tú el aire que respiro yo y la luz de la luna en el mar, la garganta que ansío mojar, que temo ahogar de amor.
And more, Maduro ally claims diplomatic status, expressed Thursday 7th April, page 19. In fight against U.S. charges, Maduro ally claims diplomatic status. An attorney for a businessman enriched by Venezuela's government argued in federal court yesterday that his client's continued detention on corruption charges sets a dangerous precedent that could endanger the free movement of U.S. officials around the world. Keith Christopher Rowley, continue, go ahead. You're trying to just sanitize your Delcy debacle when during a COVID-19 shutdown where the borders were closed to citizens, you allowed a sanctioned jet with a sanctioned indicted vice presidente of Venezuela to land with PDVSA officials as Astrubal Chavez. You're trying to talk it out now like it's normal. You're trying to normalize it. What you're going to do, send small pin to Venezuela, you going to Venezuela, something on the horizon. Rowley, you are sick, boy, but you are unmasked. The people in Tobago saw you, and all of Trinidad is just waiting to see the back of you, to get rid of you. Brown, Amory Brown, the selection, the man touted by Rowley, small pin gets spit out, and Amory Brown is the man. And Lollipop, how you going, Amory Brown? Why they call you Lollipop back in university? Brown awaiting report before a final decision. Trinidad and Tobago abstains on a vote against Russia. Really? What, Archibald, what? Trinidad and Tobago abstains on a vote against Russia. Trinidad and Tobago's abstention on the resolution to suspend Russia from the UN Human Rights Council is not a final statement. The country is awaiting the report of the criminal court prosecutor on the situation in Ukraine. This was the position outlined by Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown as he explained the rationale for Trinidad and Tobago's vote, which was an abstention. You ever hear more nonsense? I don't even need to explain to you how ridiculous that is. But when you look back, where has Rowley positioned us with his foreign policy? With Venezuela, Iran, Russia, and Equatorial Guinea. That's where Rowley has positioned us. So, that's his policy. Did he put that in the manifesto for you all to vote on? That he would move us away from Canada, USA, and the European Union? That he would move us away from Guyana and our CARICOM brothers and sisters and diss them and do not even attend the CARICOM Heads of Summit face-to-face meeting? Do you all remember that? But the UN, this is why Rowley can't handle it. This is why he blew up on poor Rodney Charles. Rodney Charles just asked him a simple question and the man was unable to answer. He went through a Wajang tirade. Look at this, another Mia Amor Motley. My goodness. Rowley must have nightmares about Mia Amor Motley. The UN names Motley and Trudeau as co-chairs. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres yesterday announced Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley of Barbados and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada as new co-chairs of the Sustainable Development Goals SDG Advocates Group. Rewards and accolades keep coming in for the brilliant Mia, and it just reminds Rowley of how dotish, dumb, and how nobody cares about him. Nobody wanted to listen to him in COP26. Nobody wants to meet with him. Nobody wants to do business with him. Nobody wants to cheer him on except the few balizé juice suckers who sit down and go, yes, brother. Yes, brother. We love you, wow, wow. Rowley, it's a lie. Kamala said, Pegasus spyware from Israel is here. Rowley is utilizing it. Rowley said, it's a lie. Well, it's here. We got it. But we only using it for criminals. But crime out of order, crime, criminality, murder, hit, message, they're working with the criminal. But Rowley says it's a lie. Kamala just trying to say that Rowley is only for criminals. Well, if all you want to believe Rowley, the greatest convicted liar in the history of the Commonwealth parliamentary system, you all go ahead. But let me just tell all you something. If you want to believe Mr. Email Gate, if you want to believe Delcy Gate, if you want, Sharon don't believe he. If you want to believe Mr. Judy Raymond, if you want to believe Mr. Donna Cox, if you want to believe Mr. Bundles, if you want to believe Mr. Ole Chips and Tobago, if you want to believe Mr. Darrell Smith wife, all you go ahead. But look at what he buy and watch all yourself. Run it. And Rowley admitted that he purchased that. Now, Section 1, Kyle Taklal Singh and them, they dealt with this issue. And you all need to watch this little clip very carefully because Rowley has a lot of knowledge of this Pegasus. He allowed them in, he and Small Pin, the borders were shut, they came in, they purchased it, they have it. How come he's so close to it? Run it, Archie. That's what you voted for. That's what you voted for. And a man who tries to take credit for a talent that he does not possess. Rowley. So my brother, I want to see you dance this dance as everything falls apart. Run it, Archie.
Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Yeah. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul. Who, me? While I was praying.
And while you're dancing for that, know that those fellas touch your soul and they touch your pocket and they touch your fuel subsidy that Kamala was leaving there for you, the people. They touch your soul. But we try to warn you. Run it, Archie.
But we ain't line up because it coming as soon as the global economy returns to normal. Prepare for 200 to 300%. For those who don't understand, multiply what you're just paying now by 2 or 3 and die where you go fill your tank for. Bless. Hey, left foot, right foot. You all have not realized what the removal of the gas subsidy, the total privatization of all gas stations, and the laissez-faire market coming to haunt you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, with gas in your car. You all are not realizing what has taken place. So I'm going to try to help you understand. And I dare any PNM, any Colman, any Rowley, any Small Pin, any Convent Girl, any Alarenton, to debunk what I am saying. Dr. Rowley said, listen, don't worry, I will protect you. There will be no monopoly on gas. He's right. With many different owners, there cannot be a monopoly. There will be an oligopoly.
Collusion is oligopoly. It don't have to be a monopoly. Them boys know each other. 2 call, 3 cigar, and 5 glass of scotch, and you under pressure. That is Imbat. That is Rowley. The rich must get richer. You wean yourself up the government. Wean yourself up the gas subsidy. So when the vaccinations go and planes start to fly and manufacturing gets back up to normal and aggregate demand globally gets back to pre-pandemic levels, you are going to have to pay. Where you were paying $200 for a 3/4 tank of gas, that same 3/4 tank of your gas is now going to cost you $600 to $800 for the same amount of gas.
It's a very serious thing. Now, Trinis, my people, Tobagonian, we just only get vexed when we feel it. You're feeling it a little bit at the pump now. But remember, the world is still in a lockdown, shutdown. 400 million people have received jabs. When 1.5, 2 billion, 3 billion people receive jabs and we only at 100,000 and still on lockdown. That's what you're going to have to pay at the pump. Can you afford a 400% increase in your fuel bill? Colmember will protect you. You will not be able to drive your car. Colmember does not want you to drive the car. You not driving his Colmember traffic plan. Get poor people and middle class people off the road so he could match gas with the fancy cars. Y'all don't know that, but yet y'all vote for that. You vote for yourself not to be able to drive. You vote for yourself not to have a car. You vote for yourself not to protect your family. You vote for a car is security, time saving, and future development, future earnings. A car is actually earnings for some. A car provides you with the peace of mind and lack of stress, the good mental health to know that your children, your wife, your family, your daughters are safe. You could pick them up. They don't have to be out in the world traveling. A car is life. Colmember is taking your car. Colmember is taking your life. And y'all voting for that.
Now East-West corridor across the board, the price of oil is approaching $100 a barrel. They say by December next year it may go up to somewhere to close to $200 a barrel. Colmember and the PNM took away your subsidy. That meant that you earned and owned a piece of the resources of Trinidad and Tobago. Them take it away and you all still vote for that. And the real pain ain't reach yet because the PNM slow. They sell out, they privatize the gas stations yet. So whatever pain you're feeling now, multiply it by 2 because it coming. Them ain't stopping because you elect them. You vote for them. You tell them they love you so they take care of you, okay? They ain't sell it to the brethren them yet. When they sell it to the private financiers who buy it and they put a markup, a profit margin on top of the pain. Do you all understand how deep they're going to dig in your pocket? You voting for Rowley to dig in your pocket and take out your money? Well, you're real like he, boy. We have to get back to some sort of normalcy, some sort of Trinidadian and Tobagonianism, some sort of love, respect, and unity. This Rowley has damaged the fabric of this country. When I saw this video just reminded me of what Trinidad and Tobago ought to be, what we used to be, and what we can be when we eliminate Rowley. Run it, Archie.
Golly Records. Ramadan Mubarak. Golly Records. Ramadan Mubarak. Nakul Muslim.
That is what we're talking about. Skills, beauty, brilliance, tolerance, appreciation, unity. All in that little video. That's what Trinidad and Tobago is. And really at this time, Ramadan Mubarak to the Muslim community. You all say some extra prayers for this country. Evil has taken over, and good people like yourselves must pray for each and every one of us to come out of this, to get back some positivity. Another one I saw, look at this little boy. This is where, look at this little boy. Understand what humanity, what human beings should be. When you look, compare Rowley and a Talbot and Small Pin and a Rawi and Convent Girl and Dwayne with the arrogance and the treatment and the disrespect. Randall Mitchell stoops in at a woman who needs a house. Donna Cox calling people who need hamper greedy. Think about all of that in the leadership of our country. And then look at this little boy and understand how we have gone wrong with this PNM cult. Run it.
Chop foul outside of third.
Oh, isn't that nice? Ooh, somebody's made a friend. Look at the little girl looking at him now. I know when he gives her the baseball. I mean, that's
just very
nice
generous.
And look at her face.
And the mom is really happy too.
Yeah,
very impressed by the young man.
Everybody's happy. Now somebody should give that kid a baseball, just for giving her the baseball. I think that's one of the nicest things I've seen at the ballpark all year.
I would agree.
Amazing. You know how hard you could go to 100 games and you never get the opportunity to get a ball. And that youth man didn't flinch. His heart so good. He just handed the ball to the little girl. That's what we are. That's Trinidad and Tobago. But where have we reached with this evil miscreant called Rowley? Somebody asked me the other day, but Anil, you really detest Rowley? And I said, yes. Forget politics. Just as a human being, he's disgusting. All of you women know who you went to a function to him and the way he's watch all you and make your blood crawl. But anyway, all you vote for that. But they don't really have a need for gas, you know. Because in Trinidad and Tobago, we could use this mode of transport. Run it. Yes, that is what we got to do while Imbert and them zooming past on all your road. Because we don't think before we vote. Kamla Prasad Bisesa warned you a few weeks ago. She told you. Some of you all saying, but the UNC, we're not hearing you. You're not listening? Open your ears. Listen Monday Night Virtual. Kamla warned you, told you, and look it come again. Run it.
The Prime Minister proved me correct. This is when he stated that despite TNT being an oil-producing nation, because we have to import all our fuel, due to closure of Petrin, prices will rise. So the Prime Minister is telling us that. A diesel van which spent 200 will now have to spend 375 to fill its tank. If you're filling your tank every week, you will increase your spending from 800 per month to 1,500 per month. And so these increases in fuel costs will affect the cost of food, it will affect the cost of transport, it will affect every single thing in this country. Everything.
Do you know, over the last 6 years, if you're a middle class, middle income family of 4, do you know how much you've paid Keith Rowley to be Prime Minister as opposed to Kamla Prasad Bisesa? An average of $84,000 per year. Hard, cold cash. You have paid Keith Rowley to sit in that chair rather than Kamla Prasad Bisesa. That's nearly $500,000 that you have lost because Keith Rowley is Prime Minister as opposed to Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Let that soak in. That's not just myth, that's actual numbers. based on policies across the board that impact you, from education to roads to damage to taxation to lack of funding for gate to coming down the road across the board, job losses, you name it. That's what Rowley has done. The foreign exchange crunch when businesses are shutting down and even those who are trying to survive have to buy on what they're calling the secondary market, the black market in Trinidad and Tobago. That is where Keith Rowley has taken us. We have fallen apart. Are you going to unite to solve the problem? You united to get free ketchup. Will you unite to save your country from the evil that Keith Rowley is perpetrating on each and every citizen every day? Will you unite, or will you play games with Nimakarams? Time for joking is done. Each and every one of you who believe in the Trinidad and Tobago that is loving, that is caring, that is unified and respectful, that is Trinidad and Tobago of high performance, of merit, of brilliance. Those of you who believe in that, join, unite, and let's get rid of Keith Christopher Rowley and the PNM. It's not funny anymore. Good night.